They say every small town has its secrets, and mine was no different. Our village was nestled right at the edge of an ancient, sprawling forest. The kind where the trees are so old and dense they seem to whisper to each other when the wind blows. We had one rule, a rule passed down through generations, etched into the very soul of our community. If you hear a voice calling your name from the forest at night, you must never, ever answer. I was young then, maybe 17, and full of that reckless confidence that only youth can afford. I thought it was just an old wives' tale, a story the elders told to keep kids from wandering off after dark. My friend Liam and I would often joke about it. We'd dare each other, laughing. What's the worst that could happen? A spooky ghost gets you. We were fools. One evening, I was walking home late, the moon a pale sliver in the inky sky. The path ran alongside the forest's edge, and the air was thick with the smell of damp earth and pine. That's when I heard it. Ethan, the voice was faint, but it was unmistakable. It was Liam. Ethan, over here. I need some help. My heart did a little jump. What was he doing in the woods at this hour? I remembered the elder's warning, a cold prickle of fear running down my spine. But then I heard him again, his voice strained, desperate. Ethan, please. I'm stuck. Common sense fought with a lifetime of ingrained fear. This was my best friend. I couldn't just leave him. Liam? Where are you? I called back, my voice trembling slightly as I stepped off the path and into the tree line. I'm coming. The darkness of the forest swallowed the moonlight whole. I could barely see my own hand in front of my face, relying on the sound of his voice to guide me. Keep talking, Liam. I can't see a thing, I yelled. Just a little further, his voice replied, seeming to come from deeper within the suffocating blackness. I pushed through thorny bushes and stumbled over unseen roots, my breath catching in my throat. The air grew colder, and a strange silence fell over the woods. The usual nighttime chorus of crickets and frogs was gone. There was only the sound of my own frantic footsteps and that guiding voice. Almost there. Ethan, he called out, but something was wrong. The voice, it was still Liam's, but it had a strange, hollow echo to it now, like it was coming from the bottom of a well. A deep, instinctual dread began to bloom in my chest. This wasn't right. This felt predatory. I stopped. Liam, this isn't funny anymore. Where are you? I demanded, trying to sound braver than I felt. A low chuckle echoed through the trees. It was a sound that didn't belong to any human. It was dry and brittle, like dead leaves skittering across pavement. Then the voice spoke again. But this time it wasn't Liam's. It was a twisted, distorted version of it, so close, it rasped, so close to joining us. From the shadows just ahead, a figure began to form. It was tall and unnaturally thin, its limbs long and jointed like a spider's. It had no face, just a smooth expanse of pale skin where features should have been. But I knew, somehow I just knew, it was smiling. Pure, undiluted terror seized me. I didn't scream. I couldn't. My throat was frozen solid. I just turned and ran. I ran faster than I've ever run in my life, not daring to look back. Branches whipped at my face, thorns tore at my clothes and skin, but I didn't feel it. All I could hear was that dry, scraping chuckle chasing me, and a chorus of whispers that now surrounded me. Dozens of voices all calling my name from the darkness. Ethan, Ethan. I burst out of the forest and collapsed onto the dirt path, gasping for air, my heart hammering against my ribs like a trapped bird. I scrambled back to the village, ignoring the cuts and bruises. The next morning, I found Liam. He was perfectly fine, sleeping soundly in his bed. He swore he hadn't left his house all night. When I told the village elder what had happened, his face went pale. He didn't scold me. He just looked at me with a profound sadness. He explained that the forest doesn't just have ghosts. It's a living entity, a hungry one. It borrows things from our world, the voices of our loved ones, their faces, their memories to lure us in. Those who answer, those who follow are never seen again. They become part of the forest, their own voices added to its collection. But then he told me the worst part. You answered it, he said, his voice a grim whisper. And you escaped. The forest doesn't like that. It doesn't like to be cheated by breaking a rule and surviving. I hadn't just endangered myself. I had angered it. I had created a debt. And the forest would come to collect. Our village was no longer safe. The whispers from the woods grew more frequent after that, more insistent. The shadows at the edge of the trees seemed to creep closer to our homes each night. So, I'm telling you this story for a reason. I left my village long ago. But I can still hear the whispers sometimes, carried on the night wind. If you ever find yourself near a dark, quiet wood late at night, and you hear a familiar voice calling for you, do not be a hero. Do not be a friend. Do not even be human. Be silent. Pretend you heard nothing. Run. Because whatever is calling you, it isn't who you think it is. And if you answer, you might just be the next voice it borrows. Thanks for listening. Stay safe out there.